Hello, and welcome to today's Coppice Dev stream. I hope you're all doing well on this Saturday afternoon, morning, evening, whatever it is, wherever you are, and welcome to the stream. For those of you who joined me earlier in the week, we were continuing working on the image linking functionality in Coppice. We've actually got everything hooked up to the data model and started working on styling our hotspots, styling some of our control for selecting the type of hotspot. Midweek, I also started I wouldn't say a new stream, it's a continuation of the Coppice Development streams, but it's not really focusing on the development of Coppice. It's trying to work on other things. I'm trying to do that around a Wednesday, like 6 to 8 p.m. UK time. So in the evening in Europe, morning, afternoon in the US. And I've actually started working on the new app, currently codenamed Streamline, though that's probably going to change. And its purpose is going to be to help me deal with music for the stream. So if you're interested in that, the VOD for that will be going up on YouTube next week. It should already be on Twitch, but that is something new I'm trying, and I'm hoping the Wednesday streams will be something a bit less than just working on an existing app. So at the moment it's building a new app, but I'm also wanting to potentially do things like learn motion graphics and various other bits and pieces around building and releasing software, but just try some of those other things out. So those are going to be the Wednesday streams that I'm hoping to do from now on. But today we're back to Coppice. So let's have a look at where we were last time. So if we why are we getting crash? That is interesting. A clean build. Was not expecting that. Version of Coppice. And sort out my key bindings again. Right, build and run and see if it actually works this time. Okay. Got yeah. Curious. Very, very curious. have this here. What happens if we do another? Okay, so that works. Sample documents. Let's. Okay, that works. Does that? Okay. So something changed. So let's have a look. So we've got our history here. So let's try and selection deletion of plots. Right, checking moving the build and run. I have an inkling of what may be causing this, but we'll have to see. Document. Pause. Okay, so there's no crash there. So let's check out another bit. Build and run. Pause. Okay. Aha. Crash. So, this is when the detective work really starts. How's that? Document. Okay, so no crash there. So let's go back. This commit. See if we can reproduce the crash again. Because if we can, then we found our commit. Document. Files. Document. Okay. Let's have a look at the object graph. Don't have any... I have all these document window view models that are... So inspect container auto unbinder value. Right, so let's enable some malloc logging because team got a dangling pointer somewhere. Should be in KVO. I think I know what is going wrong here. Diagnostics, and we diagnostics malloc backlog. Right, build and run. So if we launch the memory graph now, we should have no documents, no document view controllers and all stuff like that. So we should all be fine. Yep, so nothing there. So if we continue and we create a new document, we look at our memory graph. See, we have all of this stuff up here now. Outline views and canvas page view controller, canvas view model, and so on. So what we're going to do is continue. We're going to close that. Now, most of that should be gone and we should be back to where we were before. However, I suspect we won't be. Yes, so we'll have stuff hanging around. So we've got a document window view model. So those window controls make sense. Document table view. Yep. Page link manager. And the page link controller from the document window view model. So we can ignore those. And the page image controller comes from the document window view model. Don't care about that. Don't care about those too much, they're not that big. Back to upsell view. That not found. So that is a problem. Remote controller, that is fine, group fine. Edit container. Okay, so that there is when did I do that? That's early on in me doing thing. So that is a return cycle that fairly easily. Weak self. Self-dot editor equals editor. Actually, stash all that back at our main branch. Okay. So that gets rid of the return count on here. So the Coppice Ret container text document model. Okay, so that has a document view. And view. Canvas list. There. Don't have a sidebar view model, so publisher, faucet, right. Sidebar view model. That sticks. So, in that the init, what we probably want to do is self.search cancel. This seems to be a problem that I've encountered before, where we're actually ending up with KVO based observations need cancelling, otherwise they can hang around a bit longer than you would expect. Okay, let's try this again and see what we get this time. To itself as an optional. What I might be tempted to do at some point is for combine, just create a weaker sign where it will weakly hold on, so you can do in the sign, but it weakly holds on to the object and just does nothing if something bad happens. So we do new document, close this, and then we're going to look at our object graph. Now hopefully this should be a bit better than what it was before. Okay, it's worse. But our editor container view model has gone. Document. Alex stack logging is not available. try that again. New, now closed. That. Now new, now closed. Object graph. So, the canvas element. Page editor. Have canvas page view model as a strong link. That is not good. Xcode beach balls. Let's Foursquare Xcode. That. And see what happens now. Right, build and run. New, close, memory graph. Right. So let's just get rid of that. Add that. So this created as in let's editor do that. Pass in the pay. Controller. Content editor. Showing that. Got page editor view controller. Oh, NSKV on notifying Coppice text editor controller. Right, yeah, so that is doing. So, for anyone who doesn't know, what KVO does is it does something actually pretty cool with Objective-C. It does a dynamic subclass. So what that means is that when you start notifying, it creates a subclass of your object, of its class, for doing all KVO stuff, and adding that in. It will then take the class of the object and swap that class out at runtime with the new subclass. So you can already have a created object and you can swap its class out. Now, if you swap the class out completely for something very different, bad things will happen. But if you swap it out for something that is a subclass and that fully conforms to everything, it just adds new stuff, you can do quite a lot of powerful stuff. So that's why I've been getting a bit confused with some of these, because these are not notifications, these are the subclasses. Question still is, why on earth are these sticking around? So Canvas page view model has a strong reference to that. Okay. You have the Canvas page view controller. Canvas element. Okay, so then you get the text editor view. That has a text editor. Here we are. What's this? NS key value observant. Base inspector. Collection. Self view model collapse and self view model title. So collapsed on there. So they shouldn't doing. That is on Canvas inspect. Team serving that. Right here. Bound to the view model, the view. Oh, bound to the selected theme. Go enable. Coppice subscription. Held by ah. Document with let's so the campsite's view model has a delegate. So canvas layout and its delegate is weak, so no. Then you have the campus editor view controller. That has a strong reference to its view model. So the I'm a Air Force. full layout. That's view here. Why? I wonder if got cancelled. So I wonder if that is why, and it's just we're too quick, and that's why those are now appearing. So hopefully, this, that. Hey! So we've learnt something. That of so we still have something's been retained, but we're back to what we were now. So we have our inspect container view and our canvas controller. So canvas controller. So that is being cleaned up, so that is good. That is remember. To self view model collapse. What is this? They're holding on. Let's have a look-see here. see what we can come up with. Hi Dave, how are you today? Yes, there is a KVR retain cycle somewhere, and I'm not sure whether it is in the nib or not. We've been looking through. I've managed to fix one, which is actually a combine issue. So in the sidebar view model, we had our search term observer here, which for some reason with combined, sometimes you need to explicitly cancel it for it to properly cancel with a KVO publisher, otherwise it retains on. We fixed some other issues, but we're trying to work out exactly why we are getting this, because these should be unbound for us. Let's view. So the canvas is sticking it. Makes sense. So the canvas is being held onto by there. See what the observation. Oh. Because the thing that confuses me is it has to be something in the canvas inspector specifically, because all the other inspectors are going away. Or are they? That is an interesting question. Let's have a look and see if they are actually going away. Because if I do file new, yes, we only get the canvas inspector. So let's click on this. That's given us some additional things. Now let's close that, bring this up, and have a look. Aha! Okay, so that is something that is affecting all of our... Okay, so it's not in here. It is going to be further up in here. You got your image description. No, that's the image editor. We don't want that. It's our base inspector view control and view model. So there's no combine in there. So that is going to observe there, it's going to observe there, it's going to observe there. Have a look in here. So that observation shouldn't do anything, because that's a weak self there. There's no retain cycle there. KVR here shouldn't really do anything. Finding we have here that are setting this up. We've got show collapse button, which Okay. View model collapse. View model title. So, basis. What we will do is let's just get rid of all of these and build and run and see if this will actually give us the same impact. We do that, go here. Interesting. I wonder if it may not be a KV or retain cycle then. Yeah, that's bound to anything. No. Nope, nope, nope. Binding there. Okay. Let's go into the canvas inspector. Gonna be that. Oh! Hey. That adds. Let's see if it fixes it now. New document. Close. Oh, we're still getting the return cycle. Okay, what is this KVO? F.view model that is pro enable. Okay, so if we go in here, get rid of all of the build and run. New, close, object graph. Okay, so that's got rid of the view controller. The view model is still there. Because canvas inspector, because that holds on to that, which is held onto by that, which probably has the bindings. So, inspector container. Up here, get rid of bindings up here. New, close, object graph. Okay, so we've still got the canvas inspector view model. Which is held onto by the canvas inspector controller. Onto by the inspector. And because we've got rid of all the fine. Interesting. Canvas inspector view controller. That through parent. What? That needs. Oh. So this may not actually be binding at all. It may be combined and me not using weak self. So file new. Close. Yes, it was. Okay. So what I'm going to do is that nib, canvas inspector, base inspector, this container. Let's discard local changes on those to restore all of our KVO. Build and run. Let's see if it still works as expected. File new. Close. Hey, that works. So it wasn't KVO, it was observation of stuff. So what I do want to do is what I originally was doing, where it was coming up with that, and then I wanted to close that, and then I wanted to open this. Okay, so it's not crashing anymore. Let's commit that. Actually, before we do, Alec back logging. That's a technicality. The final thing was this thing here. There's no key value about it. So, I mean, the other two that I had to fix were technically KVO publishers, but one of them wasn't, so I'm claiming a victory to some degree. I'll still use KVO. Combine has its advantages, but KVO still has more than enough advantages for me to still use it all over the place. So, fix retain cycles in combine observation. Do that. And this is probably all because, yeah, a lot of this stuff was done when I first learned combine. And I wasn't thinking, oh, you've got retained cycles and stuff there. So that has probably been in the app for a long time. Anyway, where are we? What I was wanting to do initially, before spending an hour on this, was see where we got to on Monday. Which is, if I... campaign. add this in. If I go to hotspot mode, we've got our hotspots appearing down here. Now the polygon doesn't do anything, but if I do the square, I can drag my hotspots over. I can do a circle, and I can hold option to. Ooh, that's something that I'm going to have to fix. The hover state is a bit messed up and shouldn't be doing that. So we will fix that. But we've got hover state, click states. All our resizing works. We can switch between type of hotspot we want to create. So I think this is looking pretty good. That I need to shift those up by about a pixel. So what we want. Yes, it is a very nice map, Dave. Using a style that I have used again recently, and maybe demonstrated to certain people this evening. Are we? Not canvases editor. Image editor, image content editor. No, it's down here. Translucent segmented control. Don't need that. Draw segment in frame. What we do is frame.origin.y plus equals. I believe it's plus equals that we want, because this should be drawn from the bottom left. And if we go into here, no, I guess it's minus equals. I guess it is flipped. That looks better. 99% of people will actually not realize this at all, but I do. Oh, but we do need to fix that highlight. So, don't actually want to change the frame there. I want to change the frame here. Hey. That looks good. And we want to fix our hovering. Not want to any hovering when we are in create mode. So actually, we don't want hovering. We only want to do the self dot is editable. Yeah, why is it doing any sort of hovering? Editable be equal to false. So this should never be getting hit. Or is it the Because down event, all the down stuff here. Down event. Right. So yeah, we only want this to happen. You do not want the click state to appear in edit mode. That's great. Yeah, I am a little confused at this. Right, so that needs to be there. And that's false. Okay, so hopefully this should now work. Go here. That's good. That's good. There we go. So if I move that around, we're fine. If I resize that, we're fine. But if I go into here, we have our clicking work. So, spot. Right. So that is all working. So the next things that we need to work on is we have modifying your hotspot link. So this is going to be where you can click on here and it will show up the link inspector. And then, well, the link inspector will show just generally, but what will happen is you will be able to click on this and change it. What we might allow is if you option click in view mode, it will select it so that you can change the link or view the link, because that is useful to do. Because what we have in here is if you just click on a link, it goes through it, but if you option click, it selects so that you can actually change it, view it, or whatever. So we may do the same on images, where even in view mode you can option click to actually change the link. You can't actually start resizing, you've got to go into the hotspot mode to actually draw the hotspots, but that means that once they're drawn you can always update them, which I think makes a lot of sense. So we can have a go into that and get the linking working, or we can go into polygon hotspots. I think I want to actually get linking working. Polygons, once we add them, that's going to be a fairly decent project to do, but it's going to take a while. It's going to take much longer than the time we have left on the stream. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a quick break to refill my glass of water, and when we get back we're going to get this option select working in view mode, and then we're going to get creating a link working, which should be rather interesting, because once that is done, basic functionality of this feature that I've wanted ever since I started building Coppice is there. So I will see you in a few minutes. Okay, I am back and I have a fresh glass of water, so let's get back into working on Coppice. So, what we want to first thing is in our layout engine, down the vent, our rectangle hotspot. Blocking. Alright, so if edit. So what we actually want self editable here. Because we want to return the handle, move handle. And what we want to do here is, yep, check that we are editable, because we're not going to move. But we do want to select, however, we only want to select if, only if, delta is 0. God, delta is editable. Or modifiers option. Edit mode or so build and run this. Just click does that. If I hold option, if I hold option shift, that's multiple things. Still want to be able to click on the background to deselect. So that should, yes. So do that when we sort out some other stuff. So that is enough for that for now. So and have a look. Yeah. Link always there. So we want to first get the link inspector showing. Let's have a look at our inspector. Set properties. Editor value. Editor. Selected link. Publisher. Update. Selection. And that editor. Then actual link. Part of this is all down here. So in theory, if we create this, make our link editor our image editor, then we should be able to start changing. So you know, one thing that I haven't actually done that I've just realised is I haven't read the release notes for Xcode, the latest version of Xcode. But I'm now running 13.3, but I haven't read what exactly has changed in 13.3. So where are they? There we go. What do we have that is new? C++, don't care about that. Issues with concurrency, don't care about that. Build systems should have a new mode that better utilizes available codes, which is faster build. Let's read com.apple. I already have this enabled. Just not. Okay, let's give this a try live on stream. Let's do a clean build, see how long it takes, and we'll enable the new build system integration and see how long a clean build takes there. Of course, for anyone watching with an Apple Silicon Mac, this will probably take a while to do a clean build because I'm still on Intel for now. I have ordered my new Mac. It shall be coming at some point. Currently it's saying it is coming in June. Now I'm hoping it won't take that long because I've seen some teardowns of the Mac Studio that showed that the storage is basically just using a connector like the Mac Pro. So in theory they can just swap out a module, put a new module in, and they're not having to like put an entirely different chip in like with the GPU and RAM upgrades. I'm hoping, because all I have changed from the base model is stick some more storage in it, it might go a bit quicker than if I'd changed the RAM and the CPU as well. But we will see. Pretty much everything else in my system is coming. I should hopefully have my monitor possibly today, though more likely on Monday. And I've had a magic trackpad arrive today that's part of the order, so... Okay, 26 seconds to compile. Let's see. Defaults. Right. Come.apple.exe build version 1. Clean and build. I mean, it says it should better supplies available cores, but it does already max out all the cores and threads. So, not sure how much faster this will be. It feels faster. Okay, 24 seconds. I would say that's margin of error. So, what other cool stuff do we have? Mission there. So, something optimizations, documentation. Okay. Instrument stuff, localization, interesting stuff. About the organizer. Playgrounds, maybe. Previews, don't care about. Project Navigator. That's that. Simulator, don't care about. For completion, now suggest is for if case. Oh, that's a fair point. I wonder. Drag handle. Switch. Of dot. Switch. Self. Nope. That is still completely broken. Hey. Doesn't see the calculation. Alex suggests initializers. Yeah, not really much that is of significance, what I can see. So, let's get back to it. First thing we want to do is have our link inspector appear. So, we have inspectors here. Do private lazy bar. Init. Why are you suggesting the wrong initial? Right. So we want model dot page model dot document. The link editor is going to self. Arc. Let's extension now. Probably going to extract this out at some point. Image editor controller. Build and run. That is going to be plain. When start. Collection. That's it. Okay. Value. Yeah. Select it. Get rid of that. Welcome back, Dave. A Coppice coin basically lets you do certain things. So what you can do is if you click on it, you can, for example, lock a random sub emote, send a message in. What do we have? Send a message in sub-only mode, which we're not using. Choose an emote to unlock. Modify a single emote. Highlight your message. So, for example, highlighting your message. That is highlighted to me in the feed. So the various things you can do. I really need to at some point go through and add some stuff that's going to be useful. One thing I want to add is at a high amount, have something where someone can send in a screenshot, and if they spend enough Coppice coins, I will review the view of their app. So, I mean, I've seen artists use it where high things you get a free doodle or something like that. So I will have a play around. There are basic ones that you can add, like hydration check or do stretches or stuff like that. So they're fun things to play around with. So it's something I'll probably have a mess around with. Yeah, like you basically collect them as you watch or as you chat or various other things. So it lets you do things like unlocking them up. I think it only unlocks it for like 24 hours or something, but it unlocks it on all channels. So it's just something that Twitch does to let you interact a bit more. So I'm probably going to add some additional things at some point. Oh, you finally downloaded Coppice. Yeah. Yeah, you were just using an older version, Dave. I'm sure you just haven't got round to updating to the latest version of it. Yeah, I'm still pretty sure that you were the first person I actually talked to about the idea of Coppice back in probably would have been 2018, I think, at iOS Dev UK. So we have update selection out. Yeah, we're going to need external thing, because what we want to do is pass it into the view mode and the hotspot mode, so that they can interact with it. But for now, we'll just build and run. Static property. Oh, that's an extension. Oh, yeah. As always, it helps when you add some code to call that code. Oh, sample document. Go here. We now have our link down here. It is fantastic. So, what we're going to do is actually split this out. Okay. Editor. Not the nicest name, but it describes exactly what it is. The link editor for the image editor. Which conform to link editor means it's going to have a selected link. Got to no selection at publish. Copy paste that. That. Right. We can get rid of that. Any of that anymore. So that should hook up there, and we also want let editor what does that take in? So all we really want there, because we're not actually editing, because with the text editor, we don't always edit the content directly. We go through the text view. In this case, we can edit the content directly. So what we can do is probably have the link editor. Yeah, we stick it on the image editor view model. It's available to everything. Okay, so is Mark thinking? Not weak var, lazy var. Right. So we need our model is model be on there. So that will be set up there. What we can do here is f.view model. Self model dot editor. They are all getting view models down there. Right. They have those there. What we can delegate. When the hotspot selection just in layout did change and be lazy. You know what? Let's be lazy. Selection. Oh, so. Oh. Not hotspot. hotspots are selected. Alright, so filter by is selected. That returns our selected hotspots. Now what we can probably that's the image editor. Actually, with the hotspot collection in there, var right. So what we can here is model dot. Excellent. So what we're going to do here is let hotspots be f.view model dot hotspot. So dot let else dot selected link equals no selection. Then what values do we have? Empty. If selected hotspots dot is empty, guard else. Else stuff dot selected link. Actually, if that is empty, there is no selection, because that empty is that we have something but not. Right. So what we want to map compact map image hotspot dot map dot link and what we want a set of those, and if link want to guard dot count equals 1, no, if links dot count equals 0, then self dot selected link is empty. Else if links dot count greater than 1, self dot selected link multiple selection. Else, and what we want to do, page link with URL. if let page link equals page link URL links that after select equals page link else self.selected link URL. Okay. Let's get that. Else if let URL equals that first this else after that selected link empty. Okay. Oh, that should be that first. No, it shouldn't. It should be URL. Be URL. Right. Well, this won't actually do a huge amount at this point. It should just change between no selection and empty. But if we wanted to link this to, say, creating a page, and we hit enter, we're getting this logged out here. So what we can now do, update selection with link. We can do guard. That's selected. Hotspots equal self.viewModel.hotspot collection.selected hotspots. Else turn. I'm going to do selected hotspots dot for each. 0 dot so there is a URL there. Aha, we need it on here. Var URL get that, and we go back to that is good. So here URL there, URL equals link. Oh, yeah. So we have no selection and multiple selection, which we shouldn't have. Then if it's empty, then for each .url now close the URL or equals pagelink.url. I go and change that to creating page. That is now being stored. Go there and go back. Okay, so that is not committing. So what we want to get on the view model hotspots. Probably want to do that. But and we can do spots false. Yeah. And that equals hotspot collection dot hotspots dot compact map. Okay, so hopefully go here. Wait. Back. Okay. So now the key thing is clicking on there. Go in. select this here, cross, and then in our view mode, click that there. Now, what I need to know. Next. After. So if that that URL equals hotspot.url, else then if let link URL after open page link else workspace touch open okay, promising. And that just opened this. If I go to like Apple, come on here, go, I click, sweet. Now the document could not be saved because an error occurred. Okay, so something's gone wrong, but linking. Now this probably won't work properly on here. I go to then. Yeah, I have to go in. So that works. But the problem is, for example, on here, you don't have to go in and edit. But that is something that we can go and do at a later point. But right now, all the basics are done. So what we can do is want to fix data model saving, visiting hotspots on canvas and polygon hotspots. So what we're going to do is that. and delete that. And that is what we have to do. So, as we've reached the end of the stream, I am going to call it there, and we'll come back to this on Monday at 2 p.m. Where we will try and get these last few bits done, and then hopefully get started on Polygon hotspots. So we're making a lot of progress. We finally have image linking done, and this is something I have wanted ever since I launched Coppice. So this is essentially a game changer for Coppice, and really makes things so much better and so much more powerful. So I am very excited to see what happens there. But until Monday, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, a wonderful rest of your weekend. As always, happy coding.